So in this video, we're going to go through a good strength and stability workout that you can do at home. So if you're limited in space, if you're limited in equipment, all you need here is just a small corner, and we're just going to work purely with body weight. I am going to use the edge of the sofa, some stools for props for part of the exercises, but you can really improvise with that, and we'll go through that more when we come to the technique with those exercises. So how the video is going to work is that I'll take you through the technique of the exercise, introduce how it's actually going to be done. We'll then talk about the reps and sets. I'll then give you an opportunity to pause the video to go through the routine. When you finish the reps and sets of that exercise, start the video playing again, and we'll move on to the next exercise. There's going to be 4 exercises that we go through. If you have got additional weight, you can use that. If you've got dumbbells or barbells, you can add that in certainly to make it harder. But for most people, the way these exercises are set up, working just with your body weight should be sufficient. Another way you can actually make these exercises harder if you do get to a point where body weight is too easy and you haven't got additional resistance, is to actually try doing the exercises barefooted or just in your socks. When you're working with a shoe, because you've got that solid sort of foot straight platform at the bottom, it makes the exercises a fair bit easier. So by taking that away and then having your foot working to kind of balance and grip the floor is a good way to increase the difficulty of the exercises if that's what you're trying to do. So before we go into the exercise, it's always, whether you're working at home or working outside, it's always important that you go through a warm-up procedure first. So in a minute, I'm going to allow you time to pause the video to go through a little warm-up routine. Depending on your circumstances, if you've got a bike at home or a cross trainer or anything you've got there, some skipping, maybe a little bit of jogging on the spot, just take 5 minutes or so to go through some exercises just to loosen off the lower body, get a little bit of blood flow going around. At a very basic level, it might just be a little bit of bouncing and jogging on the spot. Good exercise to incorporate here, bearing in mind we're going to be working a lot on the lower body, is some squats. Squats are really good at working the sort of mobility of the hips and the ankles. So however you choose to do your warm-up, try and include a few sets of squats in there somewhere as well. So just sitting back into that squat exercise, weight in the heels on the way down, pushing through the flat of the foot on the way up. Just work through a few sets of that just to get your blood flowing, get the muscles activated, and then we'll come back and go into the first exercise. So pause the video now, do your warm-up, and we'll return once that's finished. Okay, so hopefully you've done your warm-up, you're loosened up a little bit now, ready to go, got a little bit of blood flow around the body. So the first exercise of the 4 that we're going to work with is going to be our rear foot elevated split squat, or Bulgarian split squat as it's sometimes known. One of my favourite exercises, really specific, certainly to squash, but a lot of other sports as well. What we're doing here is really loading one leg. The other leg, as the name suggests, is going to be elevated, and we're just going to load that front leg to really work that kind of single unilateral balance and stability. So the way it's going to work, I'm going to work on the edge of the sofa. Normally I would work straight on, but I'm going to work to the side here just for a demonstration. But normally you'd want the foot to be placed quite central, quite secure. So that foot is going to go up at the back. That's going to be placed onto the chair or the sofa, whatever level you've got. You don't want any higher than about knee height. You don't want to go too high so it disrupts your kind of posture. Once I've got my leg balanced there, I'm going to hop myself slightly forward. So when I go down, I'm going to drop into the bottom position of the lunge in a moment. I don't want my knee travelling too far forwards. It will go forward slightly. It's not the end of the world. People talk about this as some sort of massive catastrophe. The knee will move forward, but ideally I want the movement to go down and up. I don't want to be kind of flexing forward more than is necessary. So nice upright posture, hands across the chest, everything tucked in. I'm just going to dip down. I'm trying to get that back knee to almost touch the floor. So I'm dropping down as low as my flexibility will allow me to do, and then pushing back up into that start position. So slow lower down, pushing through that front leg. You'll feel a little bit of work through the back leg as well, but we're really focusing on that front leg, taking the brunt of the load, really driving through the quads and the glutes. So nice upright posture, core tucked in, shoulders back, slowly down, and then pushing back up to that start position. So we're going to work on this exercise in sets of 12 reps. You'll do 12 reps on one leg, immediately into 12 reps on the other leg. You'll then rest for a minute, and you're going to repeat that 3 times. So it's 3 sets of 12 reps on each leg. If you're struggling, if you can't quite make it to the 12, start with a target. It might be 6, might be 8, might be 10, but 12 is what we're trying to aim for there. 3 sets of 12 reps. Again, pause the video now, go through that, do your 3 sets of 12 on each leg, and then we'll come back into our next exercise. Okay, so hopefully you got through the rear fat elevated split squats okay. Next exercise we're going to look at, next one is going to be our step through lunge. So working a kind of lunge action here, but really focusing on that single leg strength and stability. So I'm going to work here, it's going to be a lunge forwards and then a lunge back all in one motion. So you can see from side on here, left leg's going to stay planted, right leg's going to move. Hands across the chest, I'm going to step out into my lunge and then step back into a reverse lunge before I return back to that central position. So I'm stepping out into a lunge, back through into a reverse lunge, and then returning to the start. So each time I come back to the center just to reset my balance. So I'm out, pushing up, weight stays in that supported leg, pushing back into that start position. With this exercise, same with the first, you're going to work in sets of 12 reps again. So 12 reps with one leg planted, immediately switch into the other leg, so 12 reps on each side, rest for 1 minute, and you're going to repeat that 3 times in total. So 12 reps each leg, rest a minute, 12 reps each leg, rest a minute, 12 reps each leg, and then you can restart the video and we'll move on to exercise number 3. Okay, 2 exercises down, 2 to go. So next exercise we're going to work is our T-balance. You might have seen this exercise before just as a static hold, but we're going to work a motion with the leg as well. So it almost comes into a kind of straight leg deadlift action here as well. So the T-balance basic is to work on one leg. You're going to just support yourself there with the back leg elevated, and what we're trying to get is your head and your foot completely in line. So as the name suggests, you're creating a T-balance position. So that's our start point. If you really struggle with the exercise, you can just work with that. But what we're trying to aim for is the movement with the leg as well. So once I'm in that position, once I feel that I've got that comfortable balance in that T shape, I'm now going to bring the knee through up to my chest and then back through to that start position. So I'm holding briefly, coming through with that back leg, holding the balance, knee to chest, back to the start position. So just at the end of the position in the T balance, I'm going to hold for a second or 2, same as I come through, just holding for a second or 2 at the beginning there. So really working on that slow, controlled stability. Working through this exercise, we're just going to work 8 reps of that. So every time the knee comes up and comes back, that's 1 rep. So working on one side, 8 reps we're going to work through, immediately into the other side, 8 reps, rest a minute as we've done with other exercises, and again 3 sets on each leg. If you're struggling with that, if you can't quite get that movement right, just concentrate on the T balance itself and aim to hold it for 30 seconds. So if you can't do the movement, just work with the T balance, 3 sets of 30 seconds on each leg. Pause the video, go through that now, and then we'll return for our final exercise. We're going to work our single leg or our pistol squats. Is going to be exercise number 4. So hopefully you got through the T-balance exercise okay. That's 3 down, last exercise to go. So the last one we're going to work with is our single leg or our pistol squat. Really tough one here. So we're going to work this as our finisher. So I'm going to use a couple of props for this one. I've got a couple of stools here. If you've got any sort of chairs you can use, anything sort of tables low, you want something that you can just kind of support your weight on. What works really well here as well is to maybe even use a partner. If you're working with somebody else, they can actually be the one that holds your weight and supports for the technique, as we'll see in a minute. So what I'm going to work here, I'm going to use the weight on the stool there to take my weight through my arms there, taking one leg out to the front, and I'm just going to sink down into a single leg squat position. So the leg that I'm working, this bent knees, the foot is staying flat on the floor, so I'm lowering down as low as I comfortably can, get your back so as low as you can, and then push back up to that start position. So I'm only using as much arm action as I really need. I don't want to be putting too much load through the arms. I want to really be getting that leg working. So the arms are just there for support, and just use as much as you need to actually get you through up and out of the movement. If you've got a partner working, they can maybe work behind you, kind of help take some of the load. What's great about this exercise is that once you can do that quite comfortably, there's the progression to be able to do a full pistol squat without any support. So the ultimate goal is to be able to work the full pistol squat where you work with the balance, you take the supports away and you're working down to the bottom and just working that single leg pistol squat. So it's a good target to aim for, to be able to work through those full pistol squats. Tough exercise this one, and again you want to make it tough even if you're working with support. So we're only going to work through 6 reps on each leg of this one. So 6 reps you're going to work on the left leg, immediately change into 6 reps on the other leg, and again as with the other exercise you then take a minute's recovery before you go in to the second set. So 3 sets in total on each leg. Pause the video now, go through your pistol squats, and we'll return with a debrief at the end of the session after that. Okay, so hopefully you got through your pistol squats okay. That's the end of the routine. Hopefully you can see there, just working with body weight, by being creative, there are lots of different ways that you can actually still train, even when you are limited with space and with resistance. By using different movements, you can still work really hard on that strength and stability aspect. Hopefully you enjoyed the workout. Good luck. See you again on the next video.